Lisa. I have 4 photos today for my page, and there's one photo that's going to be more important or more prominent than the others. If I'm doing a 2-page layout, that's there's a specific way I typically do that if I have a photo that's more prominent. But with a 1-page layout, I have to come up with some different ways to make that photo stand out. First, I have to decide which of 2 that's going to be. These 3 are sort of my supporting photos that go with a visit to a local garden that we did real briefly a few weeks ago, and then this is the photo of the 2 of us, and I could do this one, which is more on scale with these. That's a good picture of the 2 of us. Or I could do this close-up selfie that we did, which is really good of my husband and not so great of me, but it captures the idea. So I've got to decide which of the 2 of those. To make one photo stand out, using this one will automatically make it stand out because, of course, it's people versus scenery, so that helps, and also it's close up. So the perspective, I guess, is different of this photo than it is of the other 3. So I'm not sure that's the appropriate word, but we'll use that for now. So that helps it stand out. I could do other things like matting it. I'm also going to do some things probably with my paper selection that help whichever one of these I decide to use to be the key photo for the page. So we have this 4-photo sketch, and I need 3 designer papers and some embellishments. The papers I've decided to use color-wise, I've got him in blue and me in lavender, and then we've got these pink flowers. I decided to go with the pink because that's when I laid them out, it was the most prominent color, and then I don't have to worry about our colors, which the blue and lavender are harder, of course, to find in scrapbooking. This is basic gray. There's 1 page of Vivian, and then I have 4 pages of the J'adore collection, which was, I think, a Valentine's collection, but I've had it, a few weeks or a couple months now, and just hadn't even gotten to use these. They got beautiful A and B sides, and all of these prints look good with the photos. So I'm going to have to do some choosing here for them. Fortunately, I have another layout coming up where I'm going to get to use these as well. I did buy this 1 pack of embellishments that went with the collection, the flare, and then there's some little heart-shaped rhinestones that I could use on here. I could also use wood hearts. I have those as well, and I always love to get brads. So let's pick out some papers to go with our photos. We want 3 different ones, and when I said something about using the paper to sort of help things, if I put a darker or more prominent print here where the title is going to go, that's going to make that show up a little bit more as well. And this, of course, is one that really stands out amongst the different papers. However, I think it might be a little more modern looking for what I'm going for in this story that I'm telling, and with these photos. I really like this. I like the real deep color there. The other side is good too, but I think I may use this one. I think I'm going to eliminate as well. This one, I think this looks like wallpaper to me, and so I don't think it really goes with the garden kind of thing. The back of it, though, with the hearts is not bad, so let's hang on to that. The floral is too much competition with the other flowers, and this stripe is going to be a lot like that already, so I think I'll just use this one. So that leaves us with this stripe. I love stripe papers, and I think I'm going to use the stripe instead of that. So that was fast, going to narrow down those papers, and I had not done that ahead of time. I had really just kind of went through them right quick there and got the papers that I want to use. So I know I'm going to use this more, well, the stripe is awfully bold too, but the title will have trouble resting on the stripe, so I think I'll have the title sitting on this and maybe use a little bit of the stripe up here at the top, and then this blue-green color with the hearts down here. So that's how I'm going to cut those and start to lay them out. Now I do need a background color for this. Let's see. I could do white. Everything would look good on white. Or maybe one of these green shades. I kind of like the idea of using a green. Let's see if I have a cardstock. Coastal Cabana is probably a little too dark. Pool Party is great if I have a piece of Pool Party, so that's a possibility with that. Or maybe, what about like one of the really light greens? That doesn't come into 12 by 12. I mean, I don't really have a real light green. I'll pull out a piece of Pool Party, but I have a feeling it's going to end up being white. We'll see how it goes. And I was wrong. It's not white that ends up working the best, but I'm going to arrange the papers. I went ahead and trimmed down all of the pattern papers according to the sketch. And in the sketchbook for next year, when I have this sketch in there, I'll have all those dimensions listed. You can always measure the sketch though and just double anything on one of my sketches. If they're printed at 6 inches, then everything is just double it and you get the 12-inch measurement. Now I decided to use the photo, once I laid it out, I really liked better the photo of the two of us more in scale with the other items there. And I did like the pool party background. The white things seemed to get a little lost on there and it just looked better. So you just never know sometimes until you lay things out. Working with some of the flare and brads and things from the collection from Basic Gray. And I have these tiny little hearts that were given to me. I got a whole bunch of wonderful wood pieces from a friend in the mail. It was a great happy package. And those little hearts I hadn't gotten a chance to use, so I want to use those. For a title, I wanted to do something about spring, and I wanted to think about, you know, a little break in our routine. And of course, the perfect title is Spring Break. Because we've had a lot of medical things going on. And in fact, this particular day, we were going to pre-op. So we went a little early and got to just take a very short stroll in one of the gardens in the city that we were in. We've been to before. It's nice and flat and around the garden area and not difficult to walk in. So we just got out in nature a little bit. So Spring Break was a good title. I need something for the date, so I found a sticker for that. And I wanted to do a little edging around these papers, and rather than doing it darker, I thought it'd look better to do white. I'm using white gesso. You could do regular white paint. You can also do white ink, but I swear the paint dries a lot faster. The white pigment ink takes forever to dry. So it will dry on regular paper, but it just takes forever. So I just use white paint. And I put more on some of the papers where I felt like they needed, like that striped paper needed a little bit heavier coat for it to show up, and a little bit lighter on some of the other papers as well. So while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and do my date here. And I always test this on some scrap paper. And I like to use these rollers with a marker. I feel like I have a better control, especially if I don't want to ink up everything. Maybe I just want the month and the year or something. So it looks like the rest of that stuff is just about dry and ready to put together. So I've glued most of it down. I decided to matte that photo to give it a little more emphasis. It's showing up pretty good. They're close to the title, but matting it will just add a little bit more, and that was some paper I've had for years and years and years. I was using on one of my more recent layouts, and so it was handy when I went to hunt something with green. And I'll take all those little things off the back of my dimensionals here in a few moments, but the dimensionals will also help it stand out by making it literally stand up a little bit more. And I wanted to add to the title a little spring break because it was just a little short excursion. It's kind of all we were up for, but it was an opportunity just to get out in nature a little bit. My sketch shows washi tape, and I thought that ribbon might actually look good on this instead of washi. So I'm going through my ribbon, and this is how I'll go through ribbons. I just keep flipping them around inside my container until I find something that looks good and pull a little bit of that out. I had some that kind of lacy ones, but they were just a bit too busy. The one that I end up using actually has some chenille to it, but it's pretty colors and all, and I think it's a good size. So we're going to put the hearts down there. I may want a little bit larger heart underneath Spring Break. And then we'll get all the stuff glued down and take a look at the final page. Right, so let's take a look at our sketch. We've got our 4 photos, overlap pretty much the way they were. I wasn't sure I was going to do it that way at first. Get some designer papers here. I did use ribbon instead of washi there, but you know, you could use either one based on the sketch. And my title ran a little bit longer, and I went ahead and used a little bit larger heart here to balance that, and then one of the brads that went with the papers. So we can see some close-ups, and then several different ways to make this one photo stand out. I did use the one with the smaller scale version of us. So to make it stand out a little bit more, I matted it, and then I went ahead and popped it up with some dimensional adhesive. So those things really make a photo stand out, but of course I could have used the larger one of us, putting it on this little boulder paper right here with the title, also things that helped it to become the focal point. So thank you so much for joining me today. You'll find the sketch over on my blog, as well as links to classes that I have. There's a classes page, and there's a sketches PDF page along the top of the blog there, so you can always find some of the things that are available. And if you're not already a subscriber to my newsletter, sign up. I was doing it monthly last year. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing it monthly this year, but at least, you know, every other month or once a quarter, there will be a newsletter with a special video just for newsletter subscribers. So I hope you will check that out. Thanks again.